once he turned, I reacted. He didn't know. public land. Just really working hard for it. Over a month, see 2 4-pointers, and then finally third buck, third time's a charm. What a nice one. Gotta keep working at it, keep going, keep hiking far in, put the effort in. That's where they're at. Nobody wants to hike up mountains, across rivers. So happy. It's a good one. It's a real good one. And he was smart. He was so smart. Faked me out. Came sneaking in. He was in my turf. He knew you were there. He knew it right away. You were there. Came looking for you. Like, who's in my area? This is my patch of woods. And he came looking for me, and he locked up 15 yards. And I was a nervous wreck. I tried to wait it out. That was a hard one. And he went to leave, and I said, now's my opportunity. If I would have moved earlier, I would have blew it. So I had to wait, and that was so hard. That was the hardest thing ever. Waiting on him full alert, ready to pounce at 15 yards. So once he turned, I reacted, and he didn't know. Alright, so I'm going to try to do a quick recap of how this hunt went down. After many weeks and many miles looking for a big mature deer, I had a very hard time. I didn't see really many big ones at all. After several weeks, I had 1 4-pointer pop up in front of me on the ground. Then I had another 4-pointer, and that was it. And a bunch of does. And that's all I ever encountered in the bigger woods. I couldn't really find a big one. So after I just kept at it, I put 2 cameras out in different spots in the mountains, and I came upon a picture one day. It was this buck, and he was pretty nice. He looked to me a real good shooter. So I went back and I said, I'm going to go for him tomorrow. I'd never been in that area before, but I had my stand. I haven't hunted it yet. So I went back, and sure enough, the next morning, as I was going in, turned off my headlamp. I said, I don't want him to see me coming in with a light. So the biggest thing I did was stealthy, try to go in. It was crunchy leaves, which it's never good, but I went as quiet as I can, and I got in my stand, but I didn't use a headlamp for at least 200 yards, the last remainder. When I went in, I could have went right or left, and I went around the left side. I assumed he would have probably came from somewhere in the right, and the thicker stuff coming through. And I got on my stand, and I started range finding a couple areas in case he popped out. I have a good, accurate assessment of the distance. I ranged everything up, and I was waiting, and then I heard birds up in the tree, and they were doing like some little squawking noises. I said, why are they alerting? And then I heard a stick break, and I said, oh, my dad used to tell me when a stick would break, the bears usually would be coming in and they step on a stick. Sure enough, I heard a stick break, and a couple minutes later, he popped out to my right-hand side, exactly where I thought he would come. And I didn't go down that way, so I didn't want to leave my scent, so I snuck around the left when I came in, which that worked out pretty smart. And he came right under a big pine and all dirty bushes and all, and I couldn't really see him until he popped out right next to me, which was about 20 yards. And I said, oh my gosh, here he is, and he's right next to me. So I took the safety off the crossbow, which was facing forward, took the safety off, turned the camera on, and now my hand was on the camera, and I didn't want to move because he was 15 yards next to me, and he's looking for me. He knew it. He said, who's in my house today? Who came here? And he knew. And I was so stealthy, and he still figured me out that I was in his area. He's looking for me. His ears are listening, he's smelling, he's looking. He's trying to find me, and I'm right next to him, and I can't move. So that was probably the most nerve-wracking I've been in several years, having a big buck, very full alert, like right next to me. And that was pretty crazy feeling right there, just to stay calm with my hand like this on the camera. I was like a nervous wreck. So I'm just waiting, and finally he goes to turn. After about 4 minutes, he turned, and I seen the back of his head. And I said, that's my opportunity. And I swung on him. And once he couldn't see me with his eyes, his back of his head was a split second. Once he turned, I swung. So then he was going to leave, and he only needed 4 or 5 steps, and he was back in the cover to hide. So once he turned, I turned immediate. 1 second, boom, shot. And I hit right through the chest area. He just fell like a sack of bricks, just fell right to the ground. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I reload real quick. I get down there. I walk over to him, give him 1 more shot, because I was like, he's probably spined. Gave him 1 more shot, walked away, and I went like 100 or 200 yards away. And I sat down, I fell on my knees, and I was giving thanks so much. I was so thankful to be able to see a big buck like this and have him at 15 yards, and everything just worked out perfect. And I was just so thankful, and so thankful. And I let him be on his own for a while, just you know, have a little peace at the end. And I came back like half an hour later, and he was just out. And I said, perfect, that worked out so great. Tagged him up, and then the hard work begins, getting him out. But it was just so eventful, and I could. It's a shame, like I couldn't really move, even like try to film too well. So whatever I got, that's it. It doesn't work as my plan, but you know, I tried my best, and I mean, I was happy. I was so thankful to get something like this. And then it only took me 3 days to do that European mount. I got that all done real quick, actually. It's just not too many steps. I'm going to try to make a video on that to show you how to do it real easy and simple. So in case you ever want to do it, you'll know how I learned, and it just worked really, really good. And without this crossbow, I would have probably never done it with a compound. It gives me a quickest reaction time ever. Like by the time he goes to turn to leave, it was a split second. So I had 1 second of seeing the back of his head, but I was like, not even. He turned to leave. He was going quick also, and I said, okay, opportunity. I turned, shot, and so I was like, I'd say 1, 2, boom, shot. He didn't have much time, and by the time I would even think about moving the compound, because it's over your right shoulder. When you have to go to your right, it's very hard. From the right all the way to the left, you could turn really easy. But when you got to go over this way, you hit that dead spot. You got to like swing your body now. It's very difficult over the right shoulder, and that's on Murphy's Law. It's always like, oh yeah, he'll come out right here where you have to turn on him with your body. So I don't want him to see me move until it was like a 1, 2, 3, boom, done. Not even 1, 2, and he's down. And the reaction time on this thing is just second to none. That's why it makes me a more efficient hunter. I'm a way better hunter. I've shot everything with the bow already. When I grew up, I started at 14 with the bow and arrow, and I did really well with the bow. So I'm through and through. I'm a bow hunter. I still carry the bow a lot of times if I go through thicker brush, or if I go through carrying my tree stand on my back. It's easier to carry a bow. So I brought my bow several times this year, but when I want to ambush them and pick them off, and I don't want them to see me moving, I'll use a crossbow. This thing works really, really good. Makes me a better hunter, and it gets the job done quicker. So it's like, to me, it's the same thing. I can't reload quick. I make a little more noise when I shoot it, but other than that, I don't have to move, and the movement is what gives me away. It gives the deer away. So I mean, do I want to be a better hunter? Yeah, why not? Like I'm not trying to achieve anything like, oh, I'm an overachiever here. I want to get that deer, and I want to bring him home, and I want to have a good meal for a year of good food. That's what I'm looking for, and to have something beautiful to put on the wall to remember it. So that thing works for me. It makes my season complete already. But I still got 1 buck tag left, so I'll keep at it, and hopefully it works out. I mean, it already worked out, so just keep going with it. And when I'm in nature, it's like to me, it's like I'm in my office. That's where I belong. Can't ask for a better place to be. See the creator's creation, and immerse myself with it. Like, yeah, I gotta hike far. I gotta go across rivers and stuff sometimes, and hike up cliffs and down ravines, and you know, go in the remote no man's land. But it's all worth it in the end. Just to take in the sunrise and take in the nature and see all different animals. That's what it's about. Like, I mean, that's where I belong. So yeah, thanks for joining along. I hope you have a good season, and hopefully many more memories to be piled in.